Everybody, Gerone Wright here once again, and once again you're joining me on my Gerone Wright YouTube channel here on YouTube. Okay, in this video I'm going to be doing a little bit with the Pope, Gene Simmons, the famous Kiss group, rock Kiss group band back in the day, and with the symbolization of these fingers. This here, if you were to Google Pope glasses, you would actually see find this image, Pope hand glasses or something. Just Google Pope glasses or Pope glasses made with hands, and you'll come up. But what I'm going to be addressing is the way these hands are made in that direction, and it doesn't go out to the end, but it goes like, you'll see it come off to the thumb like that there. And this is a cult-like symbolization that I have linked to something far more darker than you could possibly ever imagine. Here you have the Pope up with both hands up to his eyes. I'm going to show you the Gross Clinic. There's a painting the Gross Clinic is a painting that is on our world's controversial list of 10 paintings that are found to be the most controversial in our world. This, what the Pope is doing here, I've tied it to this image here. I already did a video on this, and if you notice that that there's a woman of color back here, and how you can actually tell that it's an African woman is because they have in her hair encrypted as a crow, and which is implying, I'm sorry to say, people, but you ever heard of the term black crow, or you have crow hair, or where they describe back in the day black folks as being black crows, and are you old black crow? You ever heard that terminology? Well, encrypted in this woman's hair is that of a black crow, implying that this individual here is black. Okay, this female is black. This painting I found it has encryptions and encodings in it that describes how there was a genetic manipulation, a feathering process from a previous stage where, again, mankind's genes were altered. This Gross Clinic is showing that this team of doctors, backed by their student professors back there in the back, they're watching. And watching as these genes are being extracted, and showing what is being taken out and what is being put in. In this case, I found that there is a great white shark encrypted in this image, and also the whale. These are creatures that we evolved from. You have no idea that we evolved through these creatures, and created off of that was the reptilian ape. Okay, now, from that process came the reptilian ape, came that of the origins of our likenesses of what we would want them to be as Africans. And this is why this woman here is at this point staged, and this is holding her hands up. Now, when you mirror this image, I can get you an image just like this here, not per se of the Pope, but the witch-like woman, which is the mother of creation. Now, also, I'm going to be discussing Gene Simmons because I'm going to link the Kiss band and their photos to this as well too. If you notice here, Gene Simmons has a much older fellow. Besides, not much older than where he was in his younger days in his Kiss band group. Here he has something similar going on here with the thumb, where the finger is coming, stopping at before the thumb, like right there. You see that thing going on with the fingers up like that there? Well, I'm implying that it's the same as what the Pope is implying by his message. It's an underlining cult message. Another thing, people, I like to state is that a lot of these people in the world today that boast of their cult ties and their higher knowledge and being this close, this, that, the third, closer to God, people, I'm going to remind you once again that ancient rooted religion and ancient rooted royalty are the superpowers of our world. Nothing moves, nothing goes down without them first okaying it. It's almost like the mob in your hometown, or you moving in, or wanting thinking that you want to move. I mean, you have to go through. If anything is allowed to be done, you have to go through the power chain of command before you can be anything. Or so you think it. But I found it to be in most cases where these people enjoy the level of success and then start boasting of their Jehovah's and their Jewish gods and or their Muslim gods. It's because first they had their approval. I'll be discussing that a little later on down the line in other videos. But think about it. Before there was any kind of power being enjoyed, ancient rooted religion and royalty are the ones that approved and okayed of everything, even all of our world's art. Excuse me for a minute. Oh, excuse me. Even our world's ancient music, everything was first approved by them. So people, wouldn't that logically state to you that today it's the same exact way? Because if they didn't approve of something that was worldwide, they have the power not just behind religion, but those that believe in their cause in places, high places, as far as presidencies, militaries. Even though they are a neutral power, they have the mental and physical power and capability over the rest of the world. Point blank. There's no other different way to describe it. All right. Now, this gross clinic image, when mirrored, it produces the mother of creation. This is one of the, here it is here. You see the doctor's knife there? I'm going to turn the cock at it this way so you can see what is actually being shown here. So I can point out everything to you. There are several things that are being shown. I would not have to go. I would not go up high enough, I don't believe. Let me go up here. All right. The mother of creation, she's a witch. There's her chin, there's her mouth, there's her cheekbone, there's her cheekbone, there's her eye, there's her eye. Here's her head up in here. Do you see that? Like her cap and her headwear right there. See how her hands come up like this here? Like, rawr, I'm gonna get you. Well, she's doing that in the sense of, like the cat hands, like scratching you. You ever see that? Like the cat woman scratching. Well, she's doing that because she's showing that she genetically emerged, or through a genetic bridging or cauldron-like process with that of the cat and our ape and African ancestors. She genetically emerged. Oh, you don't see the cat, do you? Oh, okay. Well, here's the cat's teeth. One of the fangs. There's the other fang. Here's the cat's frontal teeth. Here's the cat's face in here. There's an eye socket here. See that eye socket? If I were to draw you an eye up in there, do I have my whiteout? Yes, I do have my whiteout. I'm going to put cat's eyes there for you. I do have my whiteout. Let me give you the cat's eyes right here in front of you. Just imagine an eye there, and there's one there. You see that? That's perfect. Now, I like doing stuff like that because doing it on screen like that for you allows you to see what I see. So now you have a symbolization that is equated with what? Halloween, because you have a witch and her cat. Something that is symbolic of a celebrated holiday here in America. Halloween. Now, in the cat's mouth is a genetic ball. It's a circle right here, which I'm gonna put there, and I can see it right there. And you see that? It's telling you that through a genetic manipulation, In that gross clinic, an extracted gene over the black gene was created, which calls for the likenesses of what? Caucasian counterparts. Now, I'm going to put these on here because this is like, you know what that's showing me? Like an illumination off that. So I put that there for you. This is reminiscent of our Egyptian cat. These are Egyptian genes that they are talking about in this encryption or encoded painting. How they tapped into already manifested genes of that of the Egyptian people, and now they're tapping back into it and they're describing what they are doing. Now, here's the witch's waist. There's her head and face. There's her body. There's the cat right there. These are Egyptian genes that they're talking about, and I can take you back to where they are discussing these Egyptian genes in our Egyptian glyphs as well, too, people. It shows how each civilization of people was created, and it's showing you that it was not a godly process like we were taught to believe. Instead, it was an artificial process through an intelligence that has always been in place, something that has always been happening, showing us how we are genetically evolving under the hand of man's own being. This is what this is describing. Now, where are we at with this? Here's another darker image of the gross clinic right there. And again, people, in all of my videos we have here, I'm always showing you the mother of creation, her presence, an animal, and there's always an implication of the ape. In this case, they use this black woman over here, this African woman over there, and they describe her by the black crow on her hair, describing black genes. So you have a clinic, you have me talking about gene manipulation, and mirrored images are showing just that, gene extraction, and it's showing you how genes are being altered and being controlled. Now, where we at here? Oh, being altered and being controlled. It's the same exact thing. All right, now, the Pope's is implying cat eyes. If I were to, in fact, I'm going to do it. Let me take this down. What the Pope is describing here are these cat's genes. If I were to give this man, he's wearing a cat mask. You ever see like the cat woman? If I were to give this man, I don't know if I can get this off, a cat's mouth. Notice that this, he's creating almost like a diamond up in here. You see that? I didn't even get the line here. If I were to put a cat's face in here, which I just tried to do but didn't get that off, he's describing those cat's genes. And for those of us that know this symbolization, or they that know, knows what the Pope is describing. It's no difference than the cult's message that Gene Simmons is stating when you see this. Now, another thing is that you notice that a lot of high-profile celebrities, you see them doing this with the fingers, are implying the cat. Because these ancient rooted cat genes, people, the people that are doing this are describing those ancient Egyptian genes. Those people that are involved in this cauldron cult-like process, they are talking about tapping back into genes that were created. Now, I need to go here for a minute. And see if you see this. Now this is that same There's the doctor's knife again, right there. There's the doctor. Now this is the image turned. My dear friend Mike, who's been working with me on these images, is the one that created this image for me. 2 people, by the way. Shout outs to Mike for doing such marvelous work. Now, notice that this is a full figure person here. The head is covered by the hands up in the air, because you know why? This is that image becomes from the mother of creation. You see that? The hands go now to creating those circles and those holes like Gene Simmons has there, and like the Pope has here. So that image is here, right there. Now check this out, because it gets crazy. Because the arms come here, bent up, there. There's an arm, there's the hands, here's the torso here. Then the legs go bent out to a knee and then comes back in. Over here, the same thing, the thigh to the knee. And then right here, down to the feet in the area. So you have a person sitting in the squatted position there. What's amazing about this is that all up in here, in this crotch area, it creates almost like what you would see like with Chinamen on how all of these insignias here. Let me see here. Like in here, like a Chinese design in clothing right there. And then this is like a vest. All right, showing us these genes extractions that they're talking about now, which is basically Asian, African, and monkey. Now I'm going to show you something else, because I'm looking as I'm talking, I'm seeing a face here, like a Nubian face, wearing a Nubian hat there, and the breastplate too, right there. By the way, I'm seeing something here, and because I'm seeing this image through another dimension, because not only is it there, I'm seeing it there on the screen that I'm showing you to. So there's a face appearing. So through each dimension, something else is revealed. So it's crazy, people. So this is the reason why you hear me stammering all over. But what's amazing about this is that I'm talking about cats, the Pope, the insignias. I'm talking about Gene Simmons' hand sign being related to this. I'm talking about this crotch area where you have this flat over top of the crotch right there, and it creates like this bulge. And I wonder if I can draw that face right there. My gosh, I'm seeing this face. I'm seeing like a Nubian face there. I wonder if I can draw this. If I draw this out, you guys will probably know what this is. Let me see if I can. This is like a cap right here. I wonder if you guys can see. You see that right there? That's a cap. And then I'm coming down here underneath a chin. I'm coming up with, there's a cheekbone there, coming up around the side of the face. And there's a cap, like a purple cap. Now check this out. Now I'm going to come back down from this side. I'm coming down off the cheek, coming down underneath the chin. There. And then, if I'm looking at it directly, I can't see it. But if I'm looking at it right here, mirrored back into the screen that I'm on, I'm attempting to do the mouth backwards. I'm going to put my marker on it. The mouth is right across here. The nose is right about in here. There's a nose. And then you have an eye there. And an eye there. And it creates a face right here on the breastplate. You see that? And it's like a Pope figure wearing a Pope's cap. Look at this. This is the cap right there. And here's the brow of the cap. You see that? Or a royal cap right there. You see this? Right there. And there's the face. There's the cheek. There's a cheek. There's an eye. There's an eye. There's a nose. A chin in the mouth. You see that? A head right there in the middle? Like a royal or a Pope's cap right there, face right there. You see that, people? Right there? All right, but anyway, I'm going to keep going. That's a mirrored image. I'll get back to that later. But this is a breastplate here, like a body armor. Down here, It's like a super crotch. You know what I mean? Like a flap hanging down over the crotch. Then you have the eyes, and then I'm mentioning the cat, how that creates the cat as well too in that same area. And because the cat is revealed here. Remember I gave my cat one? Now, lo and behold, I see another being there, and it squatted down in the. I see another being in here. In fact, there is a being like a Chinese person or a Buddha person sitting right there. There's the head, there's the arms, there in the Buddha garb, right there in the center of the cat, right there. There's the breast of that person, legs open, almost like the cat's nose creates something coming out of the crotch area of this Buddhist person. There's like a turban on her head right there. You see this right here? And it almost seems like it comes out to become this image, and it shows you an evolvement from this image here was there to this. And by the way, people, the reason why so many images are in here, notice how this slides, just a slid as one layer over to the other. These mirrored images creates an overlay, creates like a motion picture, and it shows you what came before. In other words, and what comes after. This is like an image before, and then this is going into after, and then it keeps going, and the next slide is showing you what came after that. And this is the reason why you have all of these produced images from, and this is, oh, by the way, this is all from, let's not forget where we're coming from with this, the Gross Clinic, which is describing how through African genes, these there was this genetic altering, and that's what it's showing. Hold on, my phone is ringing. Yeah, hey, I'll call you right back. Hello, can I call you right back? I'll call you right back, thank you. Alright, now people, I'm going to show you something that, because I've got to get back to this kiss group. Well, this super crotch area, which creates this breastplate, everything that I'm describing is also right here. Because this Gene Simmons character, which is in the middle, this Gene Simmons character, which is right in the middle, you see his supposedly super crotch here with this big oversized area for his penis right there? You see that? What this is describing is what is right is down here. The same exact thing between the crotch of this individual there, this breastplate, this armor right there is described as being right there. And lo and behold, me discussing about cats, notice that the individuals, see the cat's face and the cat's whiskers? Then look at the hands of these guys. Look at this one coming down, grabbing Gene Simmons' leg at his crotch, right there. And notice how they all seem to be bridged over each other, telling us a similar message, which is going down in these mirrored images here, about directional paths of genes. And by the way, now check this out. It's amazing that Gene Simmons, I just made that connection. Gene Simmons, which is Genes. Now, I wonder if his real name is Gene Simmons. Because, it's just amazing that I'm talking about genes and genetic bridging. Genes is Genes. And you're talking about Gene Simmons. Gene, his name is not spelled Gene in that way. I believe his name is spelled Gene Simmons. In other words, Gene. Gene. That's how his name is spelled. So isn't that amazing? So that's another bizarre message. We have to look that up. So you guys Google that and look at Gene Simmons, because we got to find out why Gene name is not Jean Simmons, as opposed to Gene Simmons, which is spelled like in jeans. So you guys got to check that out as well, because I just made that connection, unconnected connection. But here we're talking about cats and genetic bridgings. as I'm showing you here. And look how the hands are up in the air. Look at this. Look at this, people. And then we have bizarre scenarios where you have popes making gestures with their hands. Oh, by the way, these masks, again, people, these cats' masks are all reminiscent of this face or this mask, which is here. And the mother of creation riding in the center. So you're having something similar. And I started out, now look, check this out. Now, not only am I tying the cat image to all of this, I'm tying a hand symbolization by Gene Simmons to this. It's the same exact hand symbolization, and it's not where you're going like this at the end and saying okay, like the okay sign. This is stopped like right there, like pinch, like I'm bridged back into me. Look, right, like that there. This is what this is implying. You see that? And then we have a pope. These are not glasses, doing the same exact thing with both hands as what is going on in this mirrored image. Look at this. This is almost like a Nubian head here that I'm looking at. These people are talking about going into ancient created genes. Look at this, people. This is a mirrored image of the Gross Clinic. On our world's number 10 list of controversial paintings. With that image mirrored, look at what it produces. And not just that, an underlining symbolic message, which is consistent with everything that I've been discussing all along. Gene manipulation and gene bridging. That painting was created by American artist Thomas Eakins in 1875. And it measures 8 feet by 6.5 feet. So it's all the same exact thing that we're discussing with this. The same exact thing. And I mean, I have a problem with it because why are we able to go in and see things like this? And then you see characters dressed up on stage props after they reach a level. I mean, they start out normal like me and you, and then all of a sudden they become these pop culture phenomenons. And all of a sudden, they start becoming like, okay, screw the crowd, screw everything. I'm here now. Kiss my ass, everybody. I'm with my cult group now, and this is what it is. They're throwing up, no different than if you were going in a hood somewhere. They're throwing up gang-related symbols because they are showing their affiliation to you now. Now they're no longer affiliated with you, who got them to the level of success where they're at financially and worldwide with this worldwide recognition. They're affiliated with these people that got them there. Because, you know why? Because they done genetically sacrificed themselves to not only genetically contaminating themselves with these genes, but they come off and turn around and start contaminating other places. And that's why you got this thing where you got sex, drugs, and rock and roll. And it's not just that, though, people. It's with pretty much everybody. And then it goes beyond that. Because you kind of wonder, well, why do the drugs always come into these people when they becoming so successful? And what happens? Well, people, you got to understand that this man and many others drinking cum and blood and every other bodily fluid that genetically alter themselves, animal fluids as well too, people, not just mankind, but animal kind too. then what happens to these people is that they become so manifested with this that they cannot endure the pain. Imagine all of these genes ripping away at their bodies. So you know what they got to do? They got to get on all of these prescription meds, like Michael Jackson, like Elvis Presley, like Jimi Hendrix, like all of these people that then dedicated themselves to these cult-like scenarios. And notice that all the people that I mentioned, their lives become so bizarre. Look at them. Lady Gaga, she's in on this. Start looking at these people. And everybody else that I can possibly pull in and reach out. Lil Wayne, these people got tied into this, and they have no other choice but to get themselves all drugged up and doped up to overcome the internal agony of what they done sacrificed themselves to genetically. The gross clinic produces images when mirrored that show what this means. This ancient cat symbolization comes from ancient rooted Egypt. This is also relating to the Great Sphinx, where you have the lion bridged over that of mankind. It's showing how through our ape and African ancestors, how Caucasians came along. Well, actually, everybody thereafter, Egyptians tapped into the cat, and then after the Egyptians, the Asians, Caucasians. It's showing all of that. That's why on Angkor Wat you have these the myths about the turtles, about how this lord there transformed himself into a turtle and a turtle into him. All of these myths. Well, people are finding that this is more true than you could possibly ever know. How they genetically intervened with themselves, the evolution of their selves, to change themselves genetically to further themselves away from their ape and African ancestor. And now in modern day, you have individuals like this. Instead of producing images like this, what they're doing is they're telling their story about their contribution in their costume wear. And in their behaviors. You get high profile figures that go before the cameras and do some of the bizarre and strangest things. I guarantee you, people, that I can link it all back to where it originated at. And that's what through to our Egyptian ancestors and our ape and African ancestors. I'm gonna do a video behind this about Nervy Hall, and you'll be able to understand a little bit more about our dear popes and about this cat thing. Yeah. But again, people, this is a mirrored image of the Gross Clinic, a controversial painting. You have a witch, her hands thrown up like she's coming to get you, showing her emerging from the body of the cat, a demonic body looking cat by that. There's the teeth, there's the face. The cat even has a ball in its mouth. Telling you, genetic change. What was the genetic change made from? A new gene was created, abridged off of that, a splicing off of that of our African woman, which is shown right there. And that's what this doctor is describing. And how was it done? In that case, they were showing you the bodies of whales. They showed you the bodies of the great white, which we emerged from. And then finally, when it's mirrored, it's showing you the cats. It's showing you each step along the way that came previous before they got to this step and what was done here. And then this is, now check this out, people. This image, when mirrored, shows you what came before, and then it showed what was done here, and then it shows what continued out. And that's what this is all about. A readable grail about how mankind was genetically subjected to that of animal genes and a cross-contamination of animal genes, which calls for a cauldron-like process and a change. We all know that where the witch appears, there's a cauldron-like chemistry. The witch's kettle. she's brewing these jeans, cocktail and jeans. And then I bring this character along, Gene Simmons, whose name just happened to be Gene. And I'm going, damn shit, look, I wish I would have checked it out first, but it just became to me just now as I was thinking about it, that his name is spelled exactly the way that jeans is spelled. Jeans. Here we have Gene Simmons. Now, I'm telling you that his group clothing and his hand signs are all related to a underlying cult scenario that shows, and this is why his tongue is always out of his mouth. Look. And you got him reaching down towards his oversized crotch down here. Well, I'm sure that's his costume. I'm sure that ain't his crotch, because if he had a crotch that side, he'll be having that out instead of some prop in front of it. But anyway, to make a long story short, and well, besides that, the size of his crotch doesn't make no difference to me. But you see this guy's hands coming down and going up. You know what he's saying? I'm catching his cum. His tongue is out saying, you know what he's saying? That we all genetically got engaged in each other. And these cult-like rituals, you know what happens, people? It involves homosexuality, bisexuality. And that's what this is all about. I bet you as this starts coming forward and if this finding of mine goes anywhere, you know what's going to start happening? Is that people are going to start coming up. And could you imagine one of these guys making these allegations? Then one of these guys said, you know what? I'm sick of this. I'm glad Gerone done finally found out. Yes, we all engaged in homosexual acts and cult-like rituals. Now, they sworn to secrecy, but you let one of them be broke. Because this guy's the only one who seems to be popular today. Let one of them come forward based on what I'm saying. If I go viral, and then they say, you know what? We're not held to secrecy no more. They know it now. So imagine one of these guys coming forward and say, yes, we were involved in some crazy, bizarre acts with kings and queens and even popes. They snuck us in the back door of the Vatican. I didn't know what was going on. And there was extractions and there was homosexual acts where semen was taken out of us and blood was taken out of us. Well, people don't start laughing because you know what? That's reality. That's why you can see about all of these people talking crazy and singing crazy. Like Jay-Z and Beyonce. Look at them today talking about all this crazy mess about love and sex and all of this. And talking about Tina Turner and hoes and bitches and all. And they're welcomed into the Vatican. But if you Google that they done been to the Vatican, they done been there. Everybody that has a controversial thing where it's talking about Illuminati or some type of bizarre homosexual behavior or that, well, these people, even in the top of their success, all you have to do is hit your Google button and put. Look, let's say, for example, let's say Jay-Z and the Illuminati, and say, well, basically, if you suspect that they are entire with something, all you have to do is just Google trip to Vatican and the images, and then push images, and then it'll pop up. Him and Beyonce walking through St. Peter's Basilica. Then in this case, I did it on a few occasions. I linked Salvador Dali to all of this. So I Google Salvador Dali and the Vatican. Not only do I come up with all of these bizarre and unusual paintings what Salvador Dali did with popes and dildos, him as well too. He went to the Vatican and actually consulted with the Pope, counseled with the Pope about his phobia about female vaginas. And this was on the backbone of him getting married to another controversial figure, which was Gala, who was married to another controversial figure. All of these people that I'm tying to these cult scenarios with their paintings and their affiliations goes full circle back through either through the Vatican or ancient rooted kingships and queenships, which is the same thing with this. These images and everything that it stands for is right there in that mirrored image. It's the same exact thing. I don't even know if you can see this China-like figure in the center of this cat set. In fact, let me put this up here. before I Google. I mean, before I come out. Look at this Buddha-like figure. This is the head of the cat. Look at the nose of the cat. Look at this figure. Hold on, let me get it. This figure is riding on the cheek and the nose area of the cat. There's his breast area. This is almost like his shawl coming over. There's his face, and there's the head of this figure. And his hands are like out, like you would see like a Buddha with the hands out. You know what I mean? Sitting with the hands up right there. Look at this. And then you have the mother of creation rising from this. And this is a slide by slide. What Mike does with this is when he does these mirroring and overlayments, he does it like in a protractor way, where you put it, you center it on point, and then you, like I'm doing here, you spin it around, like I'm doing here, like that's the kissing, but with the same, and you spin it around, and it creates motion pictures. And then these motion pictures is what we find in what is being shown and to us today. As I just showed you, with these hands in front, and by the way, they're created like almost like goggles, people, right there. But look at this Nubian-like face here. At first I thought it was a popo cat, but look, it's like a Nubian king there. Look, chin, mouth, look at this. And then there's the eyes up in the air, just like the Pope is doing. And this here creates the overall image of a body. Now this would be down in the penis area. And this same image here is what Gene Simmons is implying here. Everything that is there in this wardrobe there. And then the other wardrobes kind of add in with the cats and everything else. People, come on. And then in the end, in his day and age right now, he's doing this. All insignias, all implied implications that I have made to an artist that created an 1800 or 18th century painting. All have meaning, underlying symbolic meaning. My name is Gerone Wright. I'm going to click out of this. I'm going to make another video. I'm going back to Nervy Hall, and that's going to be a good video as well, too. I'm a little rusty right now. In fact, this is the second video I did of this, but I'm going to come back. But people, there's no way. When you Google the Gross Clinic, why would you have all of these Caucasian figures, and then there's doctors on the table with something that you can't even describe, taking something apart that you can't even describe until I told you what it was. What the hell am I seeing there? And then all of the college students or professors in the back there looking on, and you have a woman figure here covering her head up. What in the hell would she be doing there? And with a black crow in her hair, and me calling her a black person. It's telling you that female black woman is subjected to an experiment to where genes were manipulated and contracted. And everything that is here, the underlying real message, when mirrored, it comes out and start exposing people one by one down the line. And when I'm talking about African up in there, we got this with this popo cap like that the Pope has on it. Look at this Nubian character with almost like that's like a popo cap. Now we would imagine that right there, or like an Egyptian cap. You see that? Chin, body, almost like them pharaohs. But my bottom line is that people, genes from Africa, from our reptilian ape to our ape, to our Africans, to our Egyptians, to our Asians, Caucasians, all of this stuff is documented on how these genes were created which finally subsequently resulted in the likenesses of our Caucasian counterparts. And everything is being described in these paintings. It's a record. I like to add that a process on such a large scale on such a massive scale, requires a massive record to be kept. And those that know of this, and they are sworn to secrecy, the way that they keep these notes on how it was all done is that they created and boast of their knowledge in the creations that they make, in the paintings and the sculptings, in everything that they market to us in our world. The foods, everything. And people, again, none of this stuff is allowed and permitted, because unless it is known by these people, because this is the main place where it all goes down. This is the main place where it all goes down. Vatican are the main cross-referencers of mankind's genetics. Let me get my black marker so I can show you that. The cross means the cross-referencing of mankind's genes and animal kind's genes. That's what the cross means. The cross-referencing of mankind's genes and animals' genes. And I know what it all stands for, what it means, where it's going, and why it's being done. I can continue to go on and on and on with these videos, because there is no end to this, people. And it's all interlinking. It doesn't make a difference where I go in my next video. As I'm doing my next video, you can just see me just keep adding materials in and adding materials in, because you know why? There's no end to it. It just keeps continuing and continuing and continuing. It's almost like you're doing a division problem and there's a remainder always left over. Remainder. You know what I mean? I mean, it's just crazy, people. It is just crazy. But I'm telling you right now, look at my other videos that I have here. Everything that can be answered through my material. I don't care what it is. The equation to everything lies underneath of everything that you see me here doing. My name is Gerone Wright, and through my genuine paranormal experience and encounter, which allows me to do these amazing videos, I will continue to bring you one video after the next, one video after the next. It just doesn't stop. I wonder if I can draw this out and show you these. I'm gonna see if I can put this symbol up here right quick so you guys can see that, because I know I got some pretty good keen eyes viewers here. And if I draw these things out, you guys will see what they are and be able to identify these symbols. Where I wouldn't know the symbolization, you guys would. I can see them, but I don't know what all the symbols are. But you guys would actually know. And I'm going to draw this in here. And these are actually angel wings here. I see that. Missed one. All right, I'm going to draw this out right quick so you guys can see this. This looping. Because I bet you that somebody there in this have seen that symbolization there before. Right there. I drew it over there. There's also a China person up in there, but I kind of put it in here so I drew over it so you could see the other things, these underlining messages. There's the cat's mouth, cheek, eye, and then you see that there? So you can see if you see anything, see if that has any significant meaning to you there. My name is Gerone Wright. I'm going to end that video there. I'm going to post this, all right, because I had one up already and I took it down.